start sharing the screen. Uh,
underground accounts and how you can do it too. Hi, I'm Bob Irish, reporting to you from Palm Beach, Florida. I'm here today because I've been part of a special investigation that's uncovered what I believe to be one of the biggest banking conspiracies of the last 50 years. The scandal we're going to expose today is so big and wide-ranging that practically every man and woman in America will be affected by it. It involves all the biggest banks in the country: Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, as well as thousands of smaller community banks and credit unions. All told, about 4,000 banks are in on the scheme. But this has nothing to do with banks stealing money from their clients, as they recently did in the small European country of Cyprus. And it also has nothing to do with the big bailouts many of America's biggest banks received a few years ago. No, what we're going to cover today has to do with large, secret transactions that have been taking place inside America's banks for years now, all behind closed doors. These transactions are allowing bankers to earn between 30 and 40 times more interest on their money than what they're offering you, the general public. And yet almost no one in America knows this is happening. In fact, banks aren't talking about this, not on TV or the radio or in the papers. And it doesn't matter how much money you have invested or how long you've been a client with your bank, they'll likely never tell you about these accounts in person either. In a minute, we'll feature testimony from an ex-banker who told us about these secret accounts and how they work. Because so few people know about these accounts, and because they sound too good to be true, this man even agreed to sign a sworn affidavit to prove what he was saying was true. And what he revealed was shocking indeed. While most Americans, and especially retirees like me, are struggling to find decent yields on their money right now, bankers across the country are secretly using 770 accounts, named after the IRS code that allows them to exist, to earn up to 30 to 40 times more interest on their money, all 100% tax-free. To put that in perspective, that's the difference between earning $100 on your money in the bank and being taxed on this amount to boot, and earning $4,000 tax-free in one of these special accounts. In fact, these 770 accounts are so powerful, some people have even started draining their 401ks to invest in them instead. Here's what one man told us.
Before I discovered this account, I was racking my brain about how to safely grow my family's money. The crash of '08 really spooked me, and we lost a ton. That's when I started searching for a safer alternative and found out about the banker's secret. Since then, I haven't lost a minute of sleep or a single dime. My money's just gone up and is on pace to reach tens of thousands of dollars. I've even cashed out my 401ks and put all my safe money in this account.
While very little information about these accounts ever reaches the general public, one Wall Street Journal article did slip through the cracks a few years ago. Here's what it said. The 770 account, and I quote, has become a tax shelter for the rich. It gives the affluent tax advantages far beyond those available to middle-income people through a 401k or IRA. End quote. The 770 has become a tax shelter for the rich because the money accumulated inside this account grows tax-free and can be withdrawn completely tax-free, without penalties of any kind. But it's not only rich people who are allowed to take advantage of this account. As part of our investigation, we spoke to a pastor from Arkansas who told us his church had racked up over $500,000 in debt thanks to several repairs and purchases. Remarkably, however, within 4 years of starting his 770 account, the pastor had accumulated enough money to pay back over half the church's loans. That's $250,000 in 4 years just by investing in this simple account. But he's not the only non-banker who's discovered this secret. Another person said he made more money in his 770 account in 6 years than he'd previously made in 20 years by investing in his 401k. And still another person said he planned to use his account to fund a $100,000 per month retirement. Naturally, when I heard these stories, I was very intrigued. So I asked Tom, the ex-banker who first told me about the 770 account, to explain how it all worked. To give you a bit of background, Tom is a certified forensic accountant by trade. He used to work at the trading desks of Salomon Brothers and Citibank in London, where he oversaw billions of dollars in trades each day. Tom left the banking world, however, after growing disillusioned with how the banking industry works. It's engineered for the small guy to fail, he says. No matter how much money they make using things like the 770 account, they'll never tell people on the outside about them. Tom agreed to talk with us about this account under condition of anonymity. Here's what he had to say.
When I mention the 770 account to people, the first reaction I get is, if this account is so great, why haven't I heard of it before? It's a fair question. While everyone has been stuck chasing low-paying CDs, bonds, and dividends, bankers have been secretly accessing 770 accounts for years now, safely earning about 5% interest on their money, all tax-free. And actually, when you consider the fees and taxes most investments have, this can turn out to be about the same as a mutual fund that returns 9.2% a year. So why haven't people heard of these accounts before? Well, there are 3 important reasons the 770 has been kept hidden from the general public. The first reason is that the government restricts the advertising of these plans, even though they're 100% legal. You see, companies that provide these accounts aren't allowed to use words such as savings, investment, or retirement plans in their advertisements, even though that's one way these accounts can be used. But on the other hand, the good thing is, you don't have to report these accounts to the IRS. That means the money you have stored inside a 770 account grows and can be withdrawn 100% tax-free. In fact, that might be why the government restricts advertising on these secret accounts, because they can't make a dime off them. As a result, less than 0.07% of the entire American population has opened up a 770 account, about 1 person in every 1,500.
All right, all right, all right. Good evening, everybody. All right. I see you all here. Nice, nice. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, all right. Perfect, perfect. I welcome you all tonight. And so we're going to continue the 7702 account just now live, not just a video. And for those who don't know about it, you're going to learn something tonight. All right. And I'm here as your moderator or MC tonight. I'm executive director. My name is Dios Mukama, resides here in North Carolina, in the city of Raleigh. And I'm happy to see you all. I hope you're going to have a wonderful session. It's just 1 hour of your time that can change the whole the way you see things, especially financially. So I'm not here by myself. Of course, we have the beautiful audience that I see here, and I have our main speaker, who is Patricia Geiger, one of our executive director also in this platform where we are here to educate everybody in the community, everybody here in the United States and Canada. So I'm so happy to introduce her tonight, and we're going to have another speaker just briefly after Patricia. We're going to have executive director also, Gigi, and she'll be here in a minute as well. So without further ado, let me introduce our main speaker, Patricia Geiger. Welcome, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Dios, for that beautiful introduction. Yeah, my name is Patricia Geiger, and, based here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm a licensed independent financial professional, with Xperia Financial Group. And tonight is going to be an amazing night. First of all, I want to say happy New Year to everybody on the call here tonight. Happy 2025, right? So I want to welcome you to tonight's meeting, especially to those who are joining us for the first time, right? And those who are maybe, coming after such a, maybe a while, some time ago or whatever. We are so glad to have you here. And as we kick off this meeting here tonight, I want to take a moment to really talk about something that's crucial to all of us, which is, setting up our goals for 2025. So whether you're looking for, saving more money, investing wisely, and securing your future, or create generational wealth, right? Or, just setting up, your finances in place, we have to have a clear financial plan. That is really the fundamental thing that we have to bear in mind. We have to have a foundation, right? That is clear. So tonight we're going to discuss about the strategies to help you identify and also to achieve your financial goals. This is a safe space to learn, grow, start, taking steps towards building the future you deserve, because we all deserve a brighter future, right? So let's make 2025, the year we take control of our financial journey and take our goals into reality. So I'm really excited to start, to get started here and share insights that can make a difference. So I hope you guys are ready and you have your notebooks ready, your pens, because you gotta write some notes down. And at the end of this presentation, that you be able to follow up with the person that invited you tonight, right? And ask them, how do I get this 770 account, 77, right? 770 account, the 7702 account. So very, very important. So I'm not going to waste much time. I'm going to jump into the presentation here. Just give me a moment while I share my screen with you. All right, there we go. A moment here. Can everybody see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so very much. So I already introduced myself, and I'm here with my husband, Thomas Geiger, who's very, very supportive. And we have a passion for what we do, which is educating our community and making a difference. And tonight, we're going to be talking about financial literacy and making sound financial decisions. Just like I said, we are starting off, with 2025 differently. Sit down and ask yourself this question. Do you want a brighter 2025? If so, then things have to change from what happened in 2024. Here tonight, we are sharing very, very, important information, financial education that majority of our people have been left behind with. So please just follow me. I'm not gonna speak so quickly. I want this to be, I want it to make a lot of sense to you, that at the end of this, you can make that informed decision. So let's talk about the power of choice. Power of choice, these are the companies that we partner with, and depending on different families, we can actually make a decision on which company can we actually work with. And these are just a few, and I'm sure majority of you people looking at this list on here tonight, you identify some of these, or maybe you're already doing business, with these companies already. We have, Transamerica, we have Athene, we have, Alliance Nationwide, which is very common. A lot of people know that, Nationwide, Foresters, National Life Group, to mention a few. So, like I said, financial education, is not taught in college or in schools, rather, right? So it is in a place as this one here tonight where you're going to learn a whole lot about the American system. So if American system has, tools that they've given us, right, to use, where when it comes to financial education, we can use and we can also use the same tools to prepare for our future, right? But I want to let you know that this system has been built to keep us in there. And if you ask yourself this question, that you have been working for a number of years, right? Maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But when you go and look at your savings account, you have not saved even like 100,000. But you've been working and maybe you're getting very good money. What is going on is that system where you have to understand the alternative. You have to understand how to get out of. And on this meeting here tonight, we're going to tell you that there's a different way, right? Because the system that has been built for us is to keep us in there, meaning in a rat race where we're just going round and round in circles. And then at the end of our, working years, we are shocked. We are disappointed. We are asking questions. What happened? I worked so many years and yet look at what I have. Now I have to go back to work. So here I have two different families. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can just look at this and this is really the, very, very important for you to be able to understand and differentiate, the difference between family A and family B. Family A is considered to be the Middle Americans, which is 95% of that population, right? And we make at least about 100,000 or less. We have a job. We put money in the bank. Most of us have term life insurance because it's affordable, right? Or group life insurance if you are employed. We are renting a home, or maybe we are paying a mortgage, meaning you're still considered to be renting because you're still paying towards that mortgage. If payments are missed, what happens? Foreclosure, right? So how do we prepare for our retirement? How do we prepare for our future when we stop working? It's through 401k. So depending on where you're working, they might use a different tax code, right? And we have a lot of credit card debt. A lot of us do, right? And also, we have minimal tax advantages. We have no advisor, no plan. The plan that we have is what the government has set in front of us. And that's the plans that we are using. And that's majority of the population. But when you go across, right, and you cross to family B, it's a different, ballgame. These are the ones considered to be the wealthy Americans, which is just 5% of the population. They make at least about $250,000 or more. They're business owners, right? They're not working for anybody. They're building their own empire, right? And also, they have diversified portfolios. We're going to be talking, in depth about what these diversified portfolios are. So please just follow me very closely here. Permanent life insurance is what they have, right? So for a second, if you cross over on the other side, if you look on family A, we have term life. They have permanent life. What is that? And what is the difference? I'm going to break it down for you. They're homeowners, meaning they own their homes. They're not paying a mortgage. They paid off their homes. And also they're debt-free. They have maximized tax advantages. And also they have a financial professional, just like I am talking to you tonight. Somebody who would sit them down and discuss their finances and say, look, there is a different way here. We have the 770 account, which has been kept secretly for so many years. But here it is. It is an account that helps you, get out of this rat race. And that's just a small of this population. So with all that I've mentioned here, right, we are talking about, gaining that financial freedom that majority of us, like I'm saying, we are working or we have worked for so many years, and yet we don't have that financial freedom. And we're still asking ourselves, what is going on here? How come I can't get ahead? How come I'm working so hard and working all these hours, but still I don't even have $30,000 in my account? And that is the story of us within the middle class people, which is considered to be the 95%. So it is very important to gain knowledge. And I just want to say thank you so very much again for honoring that invitation for you to be here tonight, because now you're going to hear all about it. That, financial education is going to be taught here tonight, right? So it's important for you to gain knowledge and also to develop that financial discipline. How so? This is not just an emotion or feeling. This is actually a decision that all of us have to take action. It requires action, because I can teach you, I can tell you all about this 770 account and everything, but if you don't act upon it, it's not going to do you any good, right? So let's talk about the financial principles of successful people, because it's very important, right? They're principles that you have to abide by. It depends, I'll give an example of us Christians, right? What are our principles? Biblical, right? So here with the financial, this wealthy people, the principles for financial people, successful people, sorry, is that they have to abide by these principles. What are they? Make money, but never lose money. And these are direct quotes by Warren Buffett. For some of you, maybe that have read his books or maybe know him, he's a multi-billionaire here in America, right? These are his direct quotes. Never forget rule number one, management fees versus, no management fees. What am I talking about? This is that account, right? It's that account that the wealthy people use, different from family A. They make sure that this account where they are putting their money is beating that 3% inflation rate every year. Also, that they're avoiding double taxation. There is flexibility to their money, and it's liquid. If they need this money at any time, it's accessible. They can have this money. And also that this money is growing what? With compound interest, which we're going to talk more as we go further with this presentation. Social Security, majority of us don't realize that depending on where your money is, will determine, that tax bracket on the Social Security. How much are you being taxed? Another principle is the critical and chronic illness, which is known to be a #1 cause of poverty in America and bankruptcy. They make sure that in this account, if something, the unknown, the unplanned happens, which is illness, that they're not going to be miserable. They're not going to file bankruptcy. They're not going to be asking for help from family and friends. I'm going to talk more about that as well. The last principle is that, the estate and the probate court system. Remember when I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation that this country is what? Built on systems. And this is one of them. What is court probate system? Do you know how it really does work? I'm going to talk more about that. So stay here with me. So just like I said, that financial education is really not taught in school. There's so many things that, majority of us in family A, we don't know. I would give myself as an example. Financial independence number. What is that? This was foreign language to me because I never heard anybody talk about, I heard people talk about the 401ks and the IRS and stuff like that, right? But never the financial independence number, the FIN number. So here we have a graph that is really gonna talk to us about how this really does work, right? It's the accumulation of your funds, and it will come to a step also where you have to, distribute that money, and how also can you transfer that money, right? So I have a very, very simple graph here, if you follow, right, on the right-hand side, that says, let's look at the calculation. The life expectancy for America is 80%. Is 80 years, I beg your pardon. 80 years. So in this chart is giving us an example. If you are 40 years of age today, it means that you have 40 more years left, right? 40 more years, because remember, it's 80 years life expectancy. So let's look at your monthly expenses. Everybody is different here. This is just an example I'm giving here. Not that everybody spends $4,000 a month, when they actually put all their bills and expenses and all that every month, right? If you're paying your bills, you're paying your mortgage or your rent and your car note and bank loan and student loan and food and gas and cell phones and all that comes to $4,000. For example, right? If you do the simple math of that $4,000, how much is it that you spend every year? When we multiply that by 12 months, it's giving us 48,000. Simple math, right? We are not even actually, including the inflation here and everything, for presentation, purposes and everything like that. Just simple 48,000, $4,000 a month after 12, months is 48,000. Now, ask yourself this question, right? If this is how much it costs you every year, and then you have 40 more years left because now you're 40 years, right? If we do the simple math, that 40 years left times that 48,000 gives us a $1.9 million. What? That you need to have saved up. Saved up. Because remember, when you stop working, we're not talking about active income here. We're talking now about after our working years, because that time is going to come for everybody. How well have you prepared yourself for the future? Because when you retire, it means you don't have to go back to work. Do you have that 1.9 million saved up in your account to maintain that same lifestyle that you had while you were still working? I want to tell you that majority of us in Family A don't have that plan, because we have the plan that has set us to fail, the plan that they have given us. And our minds have been so indoctrinated where we don't want to think outside of the box. We think, oh yeah, we are working and we have this 401k, I'm putting my money here, it's growing and I have my social security. And when I retire, I'm going to be okay. We have seen it over and over again that is not the case. People retire poor, people are miserable, people are going back to work in their 60s, in their 70s. Do you want to be a statistic of that? Or do you want to apply this information that you are learning today and better plan for your tomorrow, for your retirement? So I want to let you know that I have a solution for you. Because with this 770 account that we're talking about, if you had to get this policy, say for instance, everybody can afford different things, right? So for instance, if you can afford a $2 million policy in this graph that I'm showing you right now, you are set, because you will have that 1.9 million. How many people do have this kind of a plan? Do you want to make that change for 2025 and set yourself up for success? Or do you want to continue using the tools that have been thrown at you, not for your advantage, but for their advantage? So moving on, let's talk about the basic rules of money. We have different components here of the rules that we have about money, right? The first one is how you have these different vehicles that will help you understand how your money can grow. The first component or the first vehicle would be the fixed account. The fixed account, I'll give an example of a bank. You see the strategy there shows just one line going, meaning if it's 0.5%, if it's 0.2%, if it's 1%, 2%, it's fixed, nothing more, nothing less. But the middle one, which is a variable account, has a different strategy. You can see that diagram, right? It looks like it's going up and down and up and down. That shows that the stocks. That variable account is an example of your retirement account, because your retirement account or any account that is entwined with the stock market will fall under this vehicle, meaning there is uncertainty happening here because it's linked to the stock market. It's very unpredictable. You can make money and lose money the following day. make money for 3 months, 6 months, you lose money. There's war happening in Ukraine. What happens? Your money is getting affected. You're losing money. There's COVID going on. There's this catastrophe. Everybody is dying and everybody's wondering what kind of an illness is this? Not only is that people, you're losing people and everything like that, and you're confused and you're disturbed and you're scared, but you're also losing money because you have no control over this. Then there's a different vehicle called an index, right? Where it has a diagram just showing upward growth. There's no losing money here. Remember the principles of Warren Buffett, where you make money and never lose money? This happens in this vehicle. Do you have this kind of an account? Is the question for you tonight. Are you putting money in the bank? Or do you have a CD? Is that where you're saving your money? Or, you're growing your investment, or you have investments using this vehicle called variable, where you don't know, how your end is going to be, because today you make money, tomorrow you can't control that. Or do you have an index where you're guaranteed of not losing money and your money is growing using that compound interest leverage, which I'm going to show more as we go on with this presentation. So I want to talk about the rule of 72. When you look at this graph here, right? This rule of 72 tells us that if you have your money growing with an interest of 4%, it takes 18 years for that money to double. Look at 10,000 at the age of 29. How long? Remember I said 18 years? If you look at it, at the age of 47, you have 20,000. At the age of 65, you have 40. 6%, it tells you it takes 12 years for that money to double, the same 10,000. That's the principle. When you go to 8%, it also takes 9 years for that money to double. Now, let me introduce you to this account, right? The index account that will grow your money at 12%, which will grow your money and double your money in 6 years. You are 29 years of age, $10,000 principal. But when you look at the age of 65, when you're retiring, you have 640,000 compared to the account that doubles in 9 years or 12 years or 18 years. There's a difference. The difference is understanding the money fundamentals. Where are you putting your money today? And how is your money doubling? How is your money working for you? What strategy are you using to grow your money? So if you don't have this kind of a strategy, please, I urge you to follow up with the person that invited you here tonight so you can make that informed decision. And also, it's very, very important to understand how our money is getting taxed, because that is what we are falling prey to, majority of us in family A, that we are paying a whole lot of taxation. An example of a fixed account, when you look at the taxes there, that is taxed annually. When you move to the variable, that tax is a tax deferred account, meaning you don't pay taxes now, but you're going to pay taxes later. Right now it's 25%. Who knows what's going to happen in 10, 15, 20 years from today? What is that tax bracket going to be like? But also with the index account, you can see that you pay a little bit of taxation in the beginning, but at the end there's no taxation. It's a tax-free account, just like you heard in the video. Where are you growing your money? Where are you investing your money? How are you preparing for your retirement? I hope that this graph gives you knowledge, for you to actually open your eyes and see for yourselves. Let's talk about simple interest and compound interest. Those were the principles, right? I talked about compound interest and I said I was going to elaborate it more. So we have this slide here, and we have Albert, who defines compound interest as being as what? The eighth wonder of the world. He says, he who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. That's the truth. majority of us in family A have been paying compound interest. How so? Mortgage, student loans, car loans, bank loans, all that, credit cards, guys. Have you asked yourself a question where, you have a credit card with Capital One and you got $5,000, and then you've used it all up and you're paying back. And you've been paying and paying and paying for 3 years. And when you call them and say, how much money do I have left? They say, oh yeah, you're still owing 4,500 and you've been paying for maybe 3 years. And you're wondering what? Yeah. That high APR, compound interest, guys. It's a setup. How about now that you have the tools to get yourself above that, the education for you to make a better decision on how to plan for your finances and for your future. So what's the difference between simple interest and compound interest here? Majority of us, they learned this in school, right? And we left school a long time ago, in high school. But really here is a thing now that we have to ask ourselves, are we applying that information or that education that we learned years and years ago? This is just a principle. So I want to tell you that majority of us are using simple interest kind of a vehicle with a lot of our investments, retirement and all that. And compound interest is different. How so? Let me tell you. Simple interest is that interest that you're going to earn from the principal, right? In this example will be 100,000, okay? 10% will give us what? 10,000 in the first year. But when you look at the compound interest, it's that interest that will compound over the years, meaning whatever interest you've earned from the principal will compound and compound and compound. So there's a difference. Where are you putting your money and how is your money growing? Is it growing with simple interest or compound interest? So you can see it for yourselves from year one, 100,000, everybody. So two different people puts money in different accounts. I put money in a compound interest because I got the education. So I made a better decision. But there's a lot of us that are still using simple interest. So after 30 years, I'm not even going to go up to 40. After 30 years, the person there in a variable account has earned what? 400,000. And they say, oh yeah, I'm good. I've earned money. But you have to remember that you're also losing money in the process because of the stocks that you have no control over. And also remember that at the end of this, you're going to have to pay taxes, right? So let's cross over and see the person, me, who was, has that financial IQ to a level where I understand that I'm going to put my money where it's going to compound for me. I'm not going to pay taxation and my income is protected from the stock market. After 30 years, I've earned 1.7, whereas the other individual has earned only 400,000. How about now where we are saying, okay, we are packing our bags, we are leaving, we've worked for all these years, now it's time for me to enjoy my retirement. 500,000, the person says I have. And then Uncle Sam says, oh, hold on a minute, this is a tax-deferred account, you have to pay your tax bracket. So meaning that's 500,000 is not what you're going to have in your bank account or go home with. But look at the person who invested or put their money in an index account where it was growing what? With that compound interest leverage. 4.5 million. Guys, that is the power of compound interest. Do you have that account? Is the question I have for you tonight. Do you have an index account? Is your money growing like this? Because when I saw this graph, I said, listen, I don't care about the years I've lost, the years I've been left behind, but now that I have the power and I have the tools, I'm going to leverage this. I'm getting myself an index account, and that's what I've done. Are you going to do the same thing? You can. This account is not just for the wealthy, it's for everybody who can understand the education. So please follow up with the person that invited you here tonight so you can get yourself, do yourself a favor and get that account. So I want to introduce to you, just like I said, an index universal life, right? The IUL that uses compound interest to potentially generate large amounts of non-taxable cash value within the policy. and also that the cash value can be assessed later in life to fund a happy and healthy non-taxable retirement. We don't want to be a statistic of, retiring poor and going back to work. No, the time is now where you can make a decision, 2025 moving forward. I talked about the probate court. What is court probate? Majority of us, we've seen that in movies, or maybe we've come across or read books that talk about probate, but we really don't really think about it in depth, like applying it to our everyday living. Like, how can this affect us? And we see over 10,000 people start a GoFundMe every day, right? Why is that? When sickness happens, when death happens, probate court is a factor. So where are you putting your money? I want to tell you that depending on where your investments are, your money can be affected by this probate court probate system, where your account, once you're passed on, can be frozen. Why? Because it's the system. Again, guys, it's the system. They don't tell you these things. It's your responsibility to learn about these things. I hope that you're taking notes. All that money that you have invested and worked so hard for, if it gets affected, trust me, the government will have to be the one to work out and figure things out for the family that you have left behind, because the debt has to be paid. It doesn't matter whether you're not living today, they're not going to write off that debt that you didn't pay your taxes for the last 2 years, you're still paying that bank loan, student loan, cell phone bill, whatever it is. If it's affected by probate, it means that they have to do that thorough investigation, and that debt has to be paid before they can proceed and give it to the beneficiary. But the thing is, do you have that protection over your income, over your money? Do you have an index account that will give you that advantage and that benefit that the government is not going to be the one presiding on your money? So the reason actually that we are teaching this, very, very important for our community, is for us to deviate from GoFundMe to where we plan for our future better, where the money that we work for can be left for our children and generations to come. And not only about death, even just for you yourself, retirement, just like I said, sickness, when something happens where nobody plans for sickness, guys. It happens to people every day. And we are not an exception. If it happens to you, what plans do you have? So this is what probate court is. So my question here again tonight for you is, where are you putting your money? Is your money safe from probate? These here are the accounts that we use. They call them financial portfolios, right? We're talking about probate court here. What happens if you pass on? Is the money going to go to your family, or the money is going to go to the government for them to decide how much money to give to your beneficiaries? And how long is that process? A very long, cumbersome time. In the meantime, what happens to your children? What happens to your family? Right? But here I want to introduce to you that there are two accounts here, or two vehicles, called the index annuities and the life insurance, that will guarantee you that the money is not going to be affected by the probate court. And this is the reason why the wealthy Americans, the elite Americans, which is family B, uses these accounts. I hope that this information is really, really making sense to you here tonight. So the financial portfolios that we are talking about, these are accounts, vehicles that people use every day, are on the list over here tonight. I want you to look at these accounts and identify which and how many accounts are you using today, and how is it benefiting for you? What are the advantages? How is it helping? How is it growing? How is your income protected, right? Very, very important information. Here, I want to talk about money, wealth, and life insurance. This is actually a book written by Jack Thompson, a #1 bestseller, right? That says how the wealthy use life insurance as a tax-free personal bank to supercharge their savings. If you haven't read this book, ladies and gentlemen, I actually recommend that you get this book. It's about $7 or $8 on Amazon. Or if you're a member to a public library, it's free. You can just, go and get this book and read it for yourself. It's amazing that some of us who have been in this country for so many years and never came across this information. So for you who have been invited here for the first time, call yourself blessed that this information now is public to you, right? The banks will not tell you about what they're doing and how they are actually protecting their assets. This is one of them, life insurance. Where majority of us in family A think life insurance is just about death. And when somebody talks about life insurance, we're running away. We don't even want to talk about that. It's like, oh no, I'm not dying now. It's not about that, guys. There are benefits here. There's a secret. There are secrets, hidden secrets that majority of us, don't know about. But here it is. So I want to encourage you, if you have not read this book, please get a snapshot of this, get yourself this book and read it for yourself. And it's going to tell you all about what I've been teaching here from the beginning of this presentation. How about the companies that we do business with, or maybe that we are supporting already, right? That the cell phones that we have, that they're providing, services to us. Panera Bread, we go there all the time. Walt Disney, we take our kids over there all the time. Vacations and everything. Office Depot, Starbucks. All these companies use life insurance to protect their income, to protect their assets. We as human beings, we are valuable assets. The question is, are you protecting your income? If you're not, today would be the day that you have to make that decision. Let's talk about life insurance and living benefits versus disability insurance, because majority of the people I've come across, when I talk to them about this, they're like, oh no, Patricia, you know what? I'm not worried about that because I have disability insurance at work. Guys, again, it's a system. Understanding how to get out is a solution here, not to keep you in, right? We all know that disability insurance is a temporal coverage that only covers you for short term, which is 3, or long term, 6 months. And they're only paying you a certain percentage of your income, which is what? Maybe 60%. Imagine your 100% income is not enough. It's not sustainable. That's why you have a second job. That's why you're picking up over time. Imagine now that it's cut off to 60% and you are not able to work. How long is that going to work for you? Remember when we talked about critical and chronic illness in the principles, that if you have this account, you are going to be covered in case of an illness as this. Look at this guy in the ICU. He's there not knowing exactly how long it's going to be there. He's worried about his life. Now he's worried about also maybe his income. There's no income coming in. He's incapacitated. He can't help himself. You can't work. What if that was you? What plan do you have? Because this short or long term, 3 or 6 months, it's going to go. And it might work for this lady over here in crutches. What if you are there bedridden and then you are in hospital and going through chemo and going through, after that, maybe going to the, who knows what happens then? What plan do you have? Because things happen and things happen to people. But here we have the critical illness rider benefit structure, where if you are diagnosed with any of these illnesses, guys, any of this, which we see every day, happens to our friends, our colleagues at work, our church members, our family, heart attacks. Statistics are real. Stroke, cancer. If this happens, if you have this policy and you cannot afford or perform any of these 2 activities of daily living out of 6, it doesn't matter which one, eating or dressing, toileting or incontinence, transferring, guess what? You're giving up to 100% or maybe 90%, depending on the severity of the illness. At that moment, do you think you're going to have a problem to worry about how to take care of your family? I hope that all this education that I'm giving you is something that if you don't have it, you can act upon it today, today, today. Because most of us make this biggest mistake, like Kobe Bryant says, that we have time. Time don't wait for nobody. We have seen it over and over where we procrastinate and say, I want to do this. I want to write a will this year. But you know what? I'll do it maybe next month. And it doesn't happen. And years and years and years and years come. And then something happens. Boom. No will. Nothing structured for your children, for your family, and everything. And now you left a big mess behind. Please don't fall prey to that. Let's act upon this information that we have learned here tonight. And I hope that I've made valid sense to everybody. I know everybody was paying attention. Thank you so very much for listening to me. And if you have all those questions and that you've jotted down, please follow up with the person that really invited you tonight. And thank you so very much. This is all I had for you. I hope that you're going to make a 2025 a better year for you and for your family. And thank you so very much. Dear Jean, over to you. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow, wow. Wonderful. That was a great presentation, Patricia. Patricia, thank you so much for that information. I know a lot of people, as I see that in the audience, they've been very, very attentive. So I wanna check before I go to the next speaker. I wanna check who is here for the first time in this house. Who just had this account for the first time? Because this is just an introduction. I want to see in the chat, type yes or type number 1 to see who is here for the first time and you just had this information. All right. And also, I want to tell you, this is just a small information from what we have in the store. You just need to connect with the person who invited you to go in deep to see if you qualify for this account. Like I should say, most people don't qualify. So again, it is a pleasure to have you all here. And let me introduce you to the next speaker who is just going to talk just a few minutes. Let me introduce another executive director, Miss Gigi. Please take it over. And thank you again, Miss Patricia.
All right. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. And I really want to thank everyone to have tuned in to spend today and spend their time with us. And without further ado, let me just get to the point and share my screen so I can be able to. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. And happy 2025. And my name is Gigi, and I'm a mother, I'm an educator, I'm a nurse, I'm a licensed financial professional, and most of all, I'm a life changer. And today, like, it's still the first week of January. And usually, what happens in January, beginning of the year, we all have goals. We all have all these aspirations. We want to talk about, like today, we're talking about money, we're talking about accounts. We want to lose weight, we want to buy houses. And hey, there's absolutely nothing wrong with talking about money. Absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight. Absolutely nothing wrong if you want to buy a house, right? It's natural. But guess what? What about death? Who here thinks about death? naturally, we don't think about death, especially when we're setting our goals for beginning. We don't even think about death. We don't talk about it. And it's just human nature. But death occurs. We live and we die. It might not sound very good, but it is actually the truth. Is it something that we should think about? And the question will be, why would you be talking about money and then you are coming in to talk about death? Guys, I've been purposed to serve. The reason why I'm talking about death when we're talking about money is because when death affects you, your money get affected too. Anyone can go through what I'm about to tell you guys. At some point, we're all gonna die. And that's the reality that we have to live with and face. Now, I've purposed my life to serve and educate people. Just give them a reminder, just in case they kind of like forgot. And this is just me, shared my life with the whole world. And tonight, I've chosen to share my same life with you guys today. Is there a time that we can ever be ready for death? Never. Can anyone be ready for death? Never. I was that person. In 2021, I lost a loved one. Never expected it, didn't see it coming, didn't plan for it, never talked about it, never discussed anything. But it happened. Not an easy thing. So, when I lost my loved one, because of who he was in the community, because of who he was with the service that he did for the country where I come from, even for the United States, was able to say, hey, we realize that you've lost a loved one. And would like to send our condolences to you. I felt really loved by the country. And I felt really appreciated even though I was crying. There was a recognition right there. But why am I saying all this? I want you to have this thought in you, knowing that the United States did send out a note to say our condolences. What's next? I want to introduce you to the next thing. After. When you lose a loved one, many of us didn't know, like I didn't know. I got introduced to probate. And what is probate? It is a specialized court that manages the assets and the death of a deceased person. The role of the probate is to make sure that the deceased person creditors are paid. I didn't say kids or loved ones. I said creditors. You all can look it up. Its role is to make sure that all the deceased creditors are paid and the remaining assets are given to the beneficiaries after the fact. And what does the court do? it freezes all the accounts until all the assessment is done. Miss Patricia was talking about all those accounts that get frozen. And tonight I'm here to tell you that it is actually true. They freeze everything. And I want you to imagine when everything is frozen. And when everything is frozen, not only it's not just frozen for you to benefit, it is for the creditors, all the debts. You know, sometimes when you think I got my finances in order, I've been able to plan properly. I got everything in order. And only to realize that whatever that you would have worked for, what that you would have planned for, everything, it's frozen. Your loved ones have no access to it. I want you all to think about that. Checking account, all your finances. And then what happens when that happens? When they freeze, what is the next thing? How do your loved ones move on? How do they make it? And did you work for your assets to be frozen? Let's think about it. Just like us, we didn't. We did not create and become entrepreneurs for the government to freeze our money. We had a business in Botswana. We had employed people, close to 500. And you can imagine the revenue that we're bringing. And when you Google it today, 101 to 500 million. I have no access whatsoever with this. No access to this day. So I want you all to think properly and to think deep that if that can happen to me, no matter how much it is, the government does not care. They can send all letters and tell you our condolences, but when it comes to the system, they will follow it to the T. Guess what? I lost the life I used to live. My children lost the life that they used to live. We had an American dream. Went for vacations. Kids were in private school. All of a sudden, after death, everything is gone. Why? Because I have no access to, not even a single cent, because of probate. And so when we come to a meeting like this and we're talking about probate, we're educating ourselves. Think about it. Think about it. So if a family member passes unexpectedly, what will be the next thing if everything is frozen? Is GoFundMe going to be our way forward? All your hard-earned money for your children, for your loved ones, frozen. Is GoFundMe the plan? I doubt. Because when probate hits, houses get foreclosed because there's no access to money. You lose cars. You have no access, not even to a bank account, nothing. You know, People don't realize probate affects kids way more than you can imagine. When a child moves from a 5-bedroomed house to a 2-bedroomed apartment, I want you to think about that. Think about the well-being of that child. When a child doesn't know if they're going to be able to go to college, Mommy, am I going to be able to go to college? Mommy, are we still going to have a big car? Those are the questions I had to answer. But it's because I didn't know there's probate. I didn't know anything. And they will tell you, go and consult with your lawyer. First of all, they've frozen everything. And then on top of that, they're telling you, you go and talk to your lawyer so that they can help you. The money that you've been able to access, now go talk to somebody before you can access your money. Tonight, I was introduced to financial education just like you guys. I was introduced to financial education. And what did I do? I got policies. I got accounts that Miss Patricia talked about. Why? Because I protected my children. Because my kids will not go on probate for the second time because I've seen it. I've seen the effects. I've seen what it does. I'm living it. And you know, sometimes you talk to people, you are explaining to them that I'm living this life. I don't have access to my money. Do you understand that? And I am explaining to you that, listen, this is your chance so that you can be able to protect your life, protect your children, so they don't have to go through all that. And you still hear people saying, well, I still got other stuff to do. I don't wish it on anyone. I don't wish it on anyone because probate is real. And guess what? You won't be here. What kind of love do we have for our loved ones? Because at some point, the reality is there's going to be a time that that call will come to your family stating you are no longer there. When that final call comes to your family, what questions are your children going to ask? Will they feel the love and the respect, the unconditional love that you would have by taking a decision to get a policy like this? Or will they be added to the statistic? Because it's easy to be added to the numbers. It's easy to become a statistic. The decision that you make today will be the reason all the answers that your loved ones will get. With that, I want to say thank you all for listening. And it's something that is near and very close to my heart because I live this life. I don't have not even any account that I can say, not even one, And when you have money frozen by the government, the last thing that you want to think about is why me? Why my children? But guess what? It happens. Tonight, I want to challenge all of you, whether you are an agent, whether you are here for the first time, or whether you think you know. I want to challenge you tonight. Look through, go sit down, think about it. Because you don't want to go through what I'm going through. You don't. I don't wish it on anyone. And with that, I'll say thank you and have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you.
Wow, Gigi. Oh, that was very sensitive, and I can tell why you are so emotional. You lived and you're still living this life, right? So, guys, sharing this testimony, this is a personal experience, someone who's witnessing the system. It's not to scare anybody. I know most of the time when they see the word death, they want to just jump off Zoom, but that's not why we're here. We are not here to scare people off or to scare people away. We are here to educate and open eyes that most people they have ignorance, but they don't know that they do, right? They don't want to hear about things like that. They just want to live life. But at the end of the day, we experience this. Now, I want to appreciate you. I want to thank you so much, Gigi, and thank you so much, Patricia, for this presentation tonight. We are a few minutes away to the closing of our meeting. Guys, I want to tell you this. We are here as financial professionals who are licensed by the states. If we say that take action, what do we mean is this? How many people here have a trust, even a trust? Let's not even talk about life insurance because this is a must. How about a trust? Either it's a revocable or irrevocable. Are you a trustee of your assets? Or are your assets moved into a trust? Most people don't know. How many people have a will? People don't want to draft a will. But I've seen many neighbors who know exactly what the grandkids will inherit. And the grandkids also know. What does it mean? Some people also, we have a retirement accounts like 401k Roth, which they should name a designated beneficiary, but they don't. So all these accounts that bypass probate courts, including these life insurance policies, people don't have them, right? So we are here to educate you, to tell you, sit down with us. We are not saying anything at all. We are just telling you that sit down with a professional, one of us who are licensed, and plan for your financial future, for your financial goals. I want to achieve this and I want to leave a legacy. That's all. So with that being said, the last part, which is the time is over, we want to tell you that we welcome you to the next event, the next session that we're having every Tuesday. But this was just an information, a short-term session, but we can go further. And also we can tell you about the business opportunity that we have, but it's a choice. It's a take it or leave it choice. Most people say, I cannot afford this. I don't have money now. I'm not ready. We can tell you, we can train you to be ready. That's what we do. We have a free mentorship, free coaching, free training, part-time career, full-time career. I don't want to go in and share the screen because the time is over, but I want to tell you that if you want to learn more, you can only learn more if you are inside, if you're getting inside information, right? If you are licensed like us, you'll be able to access Fidelity. Most of you guys have a 401k with the Fidelity, but I don't know anything about Fidelity. Don't know even where the headquarters is. What about if you had access to a company, an investment company, so you were able to see, oh, beside Roth, what else do they have? So this is a high yield savings account, which is 4%. Is it the last one, the highest one? Does Jeff Bezos put his billion into an account that grows 4%? No, he doesn't. What other account do they have that bypass everything, right? So that you can access the money tax-free. Where do they put the money? So once you have access to those companies, you are able even to structure your life, your finances, the proper. So we want to tell you that you are welcome to join the crusade, to learn and get licensed. These nursing degrees, IT degrees, cybersecurity, those are additional. But most people, they need to be stable financially, right? So this degree that we have here, or this license, we call it financial license, it can provide that. Not only that, it can provide the income, a 6-figure in 6 months, which most of us are experiencing. It can provide also knowledge that you will never see in school or any university. So I think it's about time. We try to use 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then we encourage you, for those who join us for the first time, please follow up like as soon as tomorrow. See if you qualify with any of these accounts. Either it's a retirement account, either it's a short-term or long-term investment account, or either it's a permanent life insurance policy or an index annuity. You can find out more by sitting down with a professional. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us tonight. And we'll see you again next Tuesday. And for licensed insurance broker or investment brokers that are here, we see you tomorrow, right? See you tomorrow in the training. So with that being said, Patricia and Gigi, we can say bye to the
Good
audience.
night.
We adjourn this meeting.
Good night.
Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining, and see you next week, Tuesday.
Right. All right. Thanks, everybody. God bless you, and you have a blessed night. Thank you. Bye now.